Let us look at the second problem in our practical exercises. So in this problem we are supposed to create the tables and identify the primary and foreign keys, as well as put not null for mandatory keys. Now two tables are being given here. One is the supplier and the other one is the computer item. Now this supplier number is a primary key and the item number is a primary key. Apart from that, the supplier number, which is part of the computer items, is a foreign key that references the supplier number of supplier table. Now they have asked for not null. Now for mandatory keys only. So mandatory key is the mandatory keys over here is the supplier number and the item numbers. They are mandatory keys. So let's try to create these two tables. So I'm going to just copy paste them, and I will first select my language as SQL here in my Notepad++. Let me create a table, and I'm going to give the name as this one. I'll take the other table slightly later. So suppliers is the table, and I'm supposed to create the supplier number. Let me take it as a number, and let me take it as 5 digits. Let's take that. And because they said that it is not null, so let me take it as not null. Then I have the supplier name. Let me take it as varchar2, and let me take it as 25. And supplier address, let's assume that the address is no longer than 100 characters, but it may be true that it is more than 100 characters, but yeah, we will not be typing more than 100 characters. So finally I have the city, which is again varchar2, and I am supposed to take some values for that. So I will take this as the value. Now generally you close this table over here because they said in the problem that we are supposed to identify the primary key. So let me put exclusively, let me put the primary key. You can type the primary key here, but because they said that identify them, so I need some identity for that. So let me put a constraint, and let me take the name of the constraint as the primary key supplier number, which is a primary key. Okay, and what is the name of the field? Name of the field is the supplier number. So what does this mean is supplier number of this table, the column supplier number of this table is a primary key, and it is identified by pk supplier number. So let me create one more table. So create a table, and okay, I will take the name as is given. I have just copy pasted this name there from my text over here. I have copy pasted it. So this is the computer name. As usual, we have the item number. Let me take it as number, which is again, let's say 5 character, and it is a key. That's why I will take it as not null. Now actually when you specify something as a primary key, not null is obvious. Okay, supplier number, which is again I'm going to take it as a number. Remember the field size of supplier number, this, and the one which will be referenced must be same. Okay, so it is that you take the same data type for both of them, and let's take varchar here, varchar, okay, varchar here, and supplier name, let me make it as 25, and I have this quantity. Let me take a number, and maybe quantity is 10,2. You may have fractional quantity also. Generally you close the table here but I will not close the table here. Remember, you have to put one comma here. So put a comma and put a constraint. And what is the constraint says? Constraint says that it is the foreign key, and what is the name of the foreign key is supplier number, which is the foreign key, and it references so this is let me make it as a foreign key. So foreign key, which is the name of the field, foreign key of this table. This table we have the table, the column name, that is the supplier number, is the foreign key. Remember, whenever you say something as a foreign key must refer some other table. So it must refer a field within other table. So you have to say which one it is references. So it references the supplier table. It references the supplier table. That's not enough. Inside this supplier table, it references the supplier number. So these information you need to provide here. Okay. Now, if you want, you can also provide the primary key constraint for this one. If at all you are really interested, you can type the primary key here itself. Okay. You can type the primary key here itself, or you can type, remember what is required here is these two references, this and this is the two things. Now here this need not be the primary key, but generally it is assumed to be primary key. Again, what if you say that, sir, what if I want to write it a constraint? So if you want to write it as a constraint, and you say constraint primary key, and what is the name, item number, I will say item number, and which is primary key. Okay, and I have to say that this is the field name, that is the primary key. Okay, I can do this way, or I can do the other way around. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Either you put it here or you put it in the other way. So up to you. Let's go ahead and let's create the let's insert some values into it. So insert into suppliers and values. Okay, suppliers and values. Now I'm supposed to supply some values here, but before I supply it, let's look at what are the questions that they are asking. So list the items, so that there is not problem. There is no problem. The names of the suppliers, who is supplying keyboard, that's not a problem. Display the item supplied by a supplier called as a Microtech. Display the item supplied by a two other suppliers called as Cats and Electrotech. That means you need to have these words in your supplier's name. One is the Microtech. So let me put the number, that is the supplier number. I am putting the supplier number here. Supplier number is 101. Then the supplier name, let me put that supplier name as Microtech, because it is asked. Let me take it to the next line so that you can see it. I can type it on the same line, but for your convenience I will take it to the next one. Address is let's say near bus stand, and say the city is again, let's say Udupi, let's say. Okay, and that's it. You have one suppliers there. Let me go ahead and insert the next one. And what is the next one? Next I have 102, and what is the name that they have said? The one other name that I'm supposed to put is the Cats. So I'm going to put it as Cats. Okay, near Big Bazaar, let's say near Big Bazaar, and Udupi. Okay, that's it. Let me put one more name, and let's say one other supplier, Electrotech, and let's put the Electrotech is the supplier near say Kalpana, near Kalpana, let's say, I don't know, okay, Udupi or Karkala, I don't know whether such a place is there. Karkala, okay. Such place may be there, okay. If it is not there, let's assume that it is there. So let's go ahead and let's put one more. Now I need to by the way, sorry about this is 102, this is 103, these are all primary key. 104, these are primary keys over here. This is the primary key and it cannot repeat, you know very well. The things which are marked as primary key cannot be repeated, so that's why you need a separate one. Let's say Harsha, near Taluk office, let's say I'm just putting some name over here, and let's say Udupi. Okay, that's it. And I need the last one. Remember, after this names are not really and what is it, pi sales. Okay, near Taluk office Udupi, let it be near bus stand, somewhere. Okay, somewhere it is there. Okay, you got these many things. Now let me insert some values into the computer tables, computer items. So insert into computer items. Okay, insert into computer items the values. Okay, so you got the values. I'm going to just put one line here so that you can see it. Item number, you can say 555. Okay, 501, let's say. Item number 501. Supplier number, remember it has to be these numbers because you said you are referencing this particular supplier number. Now references, its value must be identical to the one that is given in the suppliers table. So that is what is the meaning of it. It is referencing that table 101 and the item name. Now there are a few things that you need to take care when you are checking for it. One, they have said the keyboard. Items which are supplied, who is supplying the keyboard? That's one thing that is required. Okay. So the other one is that the quantity must be more than 10. For some of them it must be there. Okay. So let me put one is the keyboard and the item name is over. Quantity is 25. That's the first one. Let me go ahead and let me paste it again. 102 502. This is supplier number. I am supplied going for the cats now, and they are supplying something. Say, let's say they are supplying mouse, and they are supplying 50. Okay, so done. Again, let me go to the next item. Item number is 503. It is supplied by the supplier 103. 103 happens to be Electrotech, and they are supplying something. So monitor, and they are supplying 5 items. Say 7 items, 7 monitors they have supplied. And let me go ahead and insert one more. 504 is supplied by the supplier Harshan, and let's say they are supplying some projector. Okay, and they are supplying only 5 items. And let me go to the last one. 505 item number supplied by the supplier 105, and they are supplying CPU, and let's say they are supplying 13 items. So that's it. So this is what we are supposed to do it. Let me take everything and let me go to the Oracle here, and in the Oracle I'm going to just paste everything, and I'm going to just run it. I'm just pasting it and just running it. That's all. I'm not doing much over here. So the table is created, and let me start with one insertion. One record is inserted. I will zoom out, assume that you know how to do this part. So second record is inserted, third record is inserted, fourth record is inserted, fifth record is inserted. Okay, all are oh, I think I made one mistake. This is primary key. 105 should have been there. Okay, so one more record is inserted. Now there is one minor problem here. This is 105, and let me describe this table and what is its suppliers. Describe suppliers just to show that this there, and also select star from suppliers just to say that things are there. Okay, so just let me take this part and take it to the Oracle. I'm going to just paste these two. So this is a description of the table. You can see there. Okay, one of them is the supplier number, and it is a primary key. That's it, and rest is all nullable, because they said only keys has to be non-nullable. Let's run the select star, and we have all of the items which are supplied by the supplier. Now I'm going to just use the scissors. Is that a pair of snipping tool, and I'm going to just take this part. I need this one for my explanation. I'll take this part, okay, and I'm going just to copy it into my Word here. Okay, I need them for my explanation. Okay, that's it. Okay, slightly, I think you'll be able to see that. This, by the way, is the suppliers. These are suppliers. Okay, just bring it down. Suppliers. Okay, this is supplier table. I need them just to, when I explain it, I need them. That's why I'm taking it. You don't need to bother about it. Let me create the second table, and that second table happens to be the second table is created. I have created the computer items. This is the second table I am creating. Now I am inserting it. It is one and the same. You select it and run one line at a time. And if the constraints are proper, you must be able to insert the items, the records, one after the other. And I have already inserted all of them. And let me go here, and for the sake of completion, I'm going to describe this computer. What is this computer items? I'm going to describe the computer items, and also I'm going to just take it select star from computer items. This is just for the completion of explanation. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to describe it, and you notice that there is one primary key, and nothing is written about the foreign keys. But let me run this select star from this one, and again I'm going to use my snipping tool to just get the computer items into the Word document. Here I am going to say computer items. This is the table, and these two are there. Now let me zoom it out, and I think I can pull it out. So you can see that one is supplier and the other one is the computer items. So let's go ahead and let's look at the 5 questions that we are supposed to solve. First one, list the items supplied by the supplier. So I need all the items which are supplied by the supplier. So what is the item supplied by? One, the Microtech, that is supplier number 101, that is the keyboard, and how many quantities. Also, what is the item supplied by, so on and so on and so forth. So I need the item supplied by them. So how to write this query? So I'm going to write the query. So select, I need everything. So I'm going to say select star from 2 tables, from the 2 tables. One is the suppliers table, and the other one is the computer computer items table. Now I'm going to alias them. Suppliers is yes, and let me take a small yes, and computer is a C, and I'm going to put the condition. You can write it in one line. I'm going to put the condition here so that you can see there where yes dot. Now which field is linking them? So that's very important. So which is the field that connects these two? That is the suppliers. Supplier number of the suppliers is connecting the supplier number of the computer table. So this is the field that is connecting them together. So I'm going to take that name here, supplier number. Okay. This is the field that connects both of them. So it connects the supplier table. Remember, supplier table is aliased with the name yes. So instead of suppliers, I can write yes, which is the alias name for that. Also, instead of writing computer items, I can write the short form C, which refers to the computer items. This is the alias name that is given, and both the tables, you notice that both the tables have the same name, that is the supplier number. So these two are connected. These two are the link between the two tables, and that is what we wanted. So let me run it and let's show this in action. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to run this one, and I get everything. So Electrotech, Microtech, and is supplying the keyboard and so on and so forth. So everything is supplied by the Microtech. So let's look at the second one. List the name of the supplier who is supplying keyboard. Now the problem here is you have the keyboard here, and I want to know who is supplying keyboard. Now I take this supplier number 101 and I go to the suppliers table, and in the suppliers table I am going to search for the 101, and I will find that the supplier name, that is yes name, is Microtech. This is what I wanted. So I want the yes name, the name of the supplier who is supplying the item name called keyboard. So let's try to do it. Remember, this is the common format you get everywhere. I'm going to just make a copy of this one, and I'm going to say I want what is that I want? I want the supplier name. I want the name of the supplier. So I'm going to just take yes name. I want the supplier name, and I want the supplier name from this. And what is the two conditions? The remaining is all same, and I'm going to put and there. And one more condition. What is one more condition? One more condition is the item name must be the keyboard. Okay, so that's the only thing. So I will take the item name, because I may make spelling mistakes. So I'm going to just copy this one, item name, and I'm going to say I'll take it to the next line. C dot, remember item name is there in the second table. Remember, it is there in the second table. So it is there in the second table. You can write item name also, because the field names are unique here, but just to highlight that it is in the second table, I'm doing it. It's not really required. You can directly write it. Equal to keyboard. Keyboard. Okay, so that's it. Got it. So what is the meaning of this? Item name must be equal to keyboard means you go to this table. In the item name, find the keyboard, and then take the supplier number, go to this and match the supplier number. Okay, that's it. Let's run it and let's see whether we are getting Microtech. So I'm going to just copy it, take it to the Oracle, and let's give it a try, and we get Microtech, which is the proper answer. Okay, and let me put this one. I need this one every now and then for my explanation. So let me run. This is for my explanation. I'm running it. Okay, I need this part. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at the next one. Display the items which are supplied by the Microtech. Now Microtech is supplying keyboard, you know very well. If you look at the Microtech over here, so if you look at this Microtech 101, and what is 101 is supplying is the keyboard. So but you have to get it in the query. So how difficult it is to get this one. Now remember, this whole story remains the same. Only thing is I need what is it that I need? So I need the items. So remember, I need items, not the names. So what is the field that has the item names? So item name is the field which contains the items. So I'll take the item names. I have it here, I think. Item name. So select item names from the supplier and so on and so forth. What is the condition here? Condition is the supplier name must be, what is it? Supplier name must be Microtech. That's it. Okay, this is what they have asked. Say, what is supplied? What is supplied by? This is third one. Yes. What is supplied by Microtech? So what is supplied? So what is this? Is yes name. Yes name is Microtech. Then go and take this number. Go to this table and find out what is the item name. So that is what you are doing. The yes name is Microtech, and go and find it. If you want, it is not really required, you qualify it and say this is yes dot, because you gave the alias name. It's not really required. Okay, it's going to work without that also. Let's copy it and let's give it a try. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to give it a try. And if I run it, I must get the keyboard, and which is obvious from here that you are going to get the keyboard. Let's look at the next question over here. Question number 4. Which are the items that are supplied by the Cats and Electrotech? Remember, we have already seen what is the item supplied by the Electrotech. Now we are asked, there are other two who are supplying. So what is the items that are supplied by the Cats and Electrotech? Cats 102 is supplying mouse. Electrotech is supplying monitor. So that's what we want. So we want the items name which are supplied by these two people, and the query is only changing in this line. That's all. I just copied the previous query. You are only going to say in, and that's it. In two things. What are the two things? One is the Cats. The other one is the Electrotech. Okay, that's it. The query changes only those two. So which are the items which are supplied by them? So Cats and Electrotech 102 is supplying mouse and the monitor. So let's give it a try here. I'm going to just run it and let's see whether I'm getting it. Mouse and monitor. If you see mouse and monitor, I got it. Okay, so let's go to the last question over here, and the last question is name of the suppliers and the items. So two things are required: name of the suppliers and the items. Okay, so let me make some changes over here. First, let's look at this one. Name of the supplier, if I want to get it, is yes name. Okay, and the name of the item that they'll say, and the items whose quantity is greater than 10. Now that's what is they are asking. Now what is they are asking is, you have a quantity here, check how many of the items are having quantity greater than 10. Take their thing, okay, which is the item keyboard, who is supplying Microtech. Take the next item 102, okay, which is the item mouse, who is supplying Cats. 13, take here and go here, which is the item CPU, who is supplying Pi6. Okay, as simple as that. So how difficult it is? You need the quantity which is greater than 10. That's all. What did they say? Quantity more than 10. That's it. They've said. Let's go and let's go here. I'm going to take the field name quantity. Remember, it is better you just make a copy of it and then do it. So quantity is greater than 10. Now because it is again not really required, I'm going to say C dot quantity, because C is the second table, that's the computer tables. It's not really required. Okay, that's it. You need to do it. Copy it and just give it a try. And you notice that Microtech is supplying keyboard, Cats is supplying mouse, and PySales is supplying CPU as discussed previously. That's all in this class. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again in the next class.